watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It's a very warm day here today in Oakland, but that means it's a perfect day for baseball. And yes, it's Father's Day. And this is a game that's been passed on from generations to fathers to sons and daughters. And hopefully these fathers and Yankee fans enjoy the game this afternoon as Hyundai presents the Sunday Game of the Week. It'll be the Yankees and the Oakland A's in the final game of a 4-game series here at the Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty. Well, not much good news for the Yankees lately. They've lost 5 games in a row. But, Flash, some good news as far as the lineup is concerned today.
Yeah, the Yankees get a couple of their regulars back in the lineup. Matt Holliday back in the lineup. Gary Sanchez is going to be catching this afternoon. And we look back to the first game of the series, stolen base for Sanchez. Had left the game with an abductor issue. That's not good news for the Yankees, but he had a pinch hit appearance yesterday, and he's back in the lineup today. First game of the series, he had 3 hits. He has been a red-hot hitter for the Yankees, driving the ball to the middle of the field. They get him back in the lineup playing defense, but they love the way he's swinging the bat, Kenny.
Yeah, let's take a look at the numbers for Sanchez this year, and he's done very well when he's been in there. Remember, early this year, he was on the disabled list. 295, 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in, the on-base percentage way up there, and slugging .555. Well, this afternoon, the Yankees are going to face a pitcher that they saw earlier this year in New York, and there was some good news and some bad news as far as Jarrell Cotton was concerned.
Well, he had a great ball game going at the end of May in Yankee Stadium. He had 5 no-hit innings in that ball game. His main pitch is his changeup, but he did a great job elevating the fastball early, and then he ended up taking the loss in this game because of an at-bat with Matt Holliday in the 6th inning. He's going to take a first-pitch fastball inside, and then he sits on a changeup for the 2nd pitch. That would be the last pitch that Cotton throws in this ball game, a 2-run home run that proved to be the difference in that game.
Let's take a look at today's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank NA, and it's going to be Jarrell Cotton. We saw him 3-7 with a 5.52 ERA, and Luis Cessa gets his first start for the Yankees this year. Scranton Wilkes-Barre 3-6 record with a 4.15 ERA. Well, today is Father's Day, and hopefully all you dads out there enjoy the game. You Yankee fans, maybe the Yankees can give you a win. Lineup's first pitch, baseball coming up next. by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. By Fios. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently. Visit getfios.com. By TD, America's most convenient bank. And by Infinity. Empower the drive. Visit your tri-state area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. Oh, look at the statuesque Golden Gate Bridge. It spans the lower end of San Francisco Bay. They're the umpiring crew for this afternoon. As they get ready for this afternoon's game, let's check out the Yankees starting lineup. As always, presented by Lexus. Brett Gardner's going to lead it off. Gary Sanchez back in there. He'll bat second and do the catching. Aaron Judge will be in right field. Matt Holliday will be the designated hitter and clean up. Starlin Castro will be at second. Didi Gregorius at short. Chase Headley will be at third. Chris Carter's at first. And batting ninth and playing center field, Mason Williams.
Well, Jarrell Cotton finishing up his warm-up tosses. We'll look at his numbers on the year. His 12th start, 3-7, 5.52 ERA. We're going to look at our pitcher scouting report, which is always brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He is a fastball, cutter, changeup type pitcher, and his changeup is really his best pitch. 15 miles an hour difference from his fastball to his changeup. You can wait him out, though. He averages over 4 walks per 9 innings.
He's been struggling somewhat lately, Flash. He's 0-3 in his last 4 starts. And he's only 1-3 here at the Oakland Coliseum this year as Brett Gardner steps in. We'll be underway momentarily. There's Gardner's numbers on the year. 262, 13 home runs, 31 runs batted in. Gardner working on a 5-for-25 road trip. So Cotton about ready to deal the first pitch of the game. The home plate umpire there is Ted Barrett. He says, come on. And here is the first pitch of the ball game. And it is in there for a call, strike one. We said that Cotton has struggled here. His ERA at home is 7.75. That's the highest home earned run average in the major leagues. So this park has not been kind to him. The 0-1 pitch, and there's a changeup in there for a call strike. Cotton born in the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. Eventually moved to Michigan at a young age and went to East Carolina University. The 0-2 pitch to Gardner, and he slashes it foul over the A's dugout and back into the seats. Years ago, there was a pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates from the Virgin Islands, Al McBean, a right-hander, hard thrower. And Flash, yeah, he was before my time as well. I had a baseball card of him.
Okay.
All right.
Well, the Yankees have seen Cotton before. At the end of May, took the loss through 5 2/3. Only gave up 2 hits in that game, but 3 earned runs.
Pitch is lined out towards left field. On the move is Chris Davis, and he reaches out and makes the catch, robbing Gardner of a bid of an extra base hit. So let's check out the A's on defense, presented by Geico. In the outfield, it's going to be Davis, Brugman, and Joyce. Rounding out the infield is Chapman at third, Pinder at short, Lowry at second, Healy at first. He gets to start at first base today. Fegley doing the catching once again, and Jarrell Cotton on the mound. So the Yankees certainly want to welcome back Gary Sanchez to the lineup. He had a pinch hitting appearance yesterday and struck out. In the opening game of the series, he was 3 for 3 with a couple of walks. He reached base 5 times in that game. Drove in a couple of runs. Season numbers are good. Knocking on the door of 300 at 295. Had a good swing at that one and fouls it straight back.
Well, good to see him back on the lineup and catching today after that abductor issue. And you see the numbers in June: 353, 7 home runs, 21 RBIs. Kind of bounced around this lineup, Kenny. Back in the number 2 hole now. Aaron Hicks still not able to go.
I think Joe Girardi wanted to give Aaron Hicks one more day. The Yankees have an off day tomorrow. Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2 after the long flight back east. They'll be underway once again Tuesday night at the stadium against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Oh, 2 count on Sanchez. There's a curveball, hangs high, 1-2. Well, the Yankees won the opening game of this trip and then proceeded to lose 5 in a row. So maybe make it a sandwich affair. After all that spoiled meat in the middle, they can have a win at the beginning and a win at the end. The 1-2 pitch, and it's fouled off as Sanchez gets a piece of it. Cotton originally was signed by the Dodgers, and he came to the A's in a trade for Rich Hill and Josh Reddick. That was at one of those trade deadline deals, as the A's were going for prospects and trading players that were about to become free agents. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off once again by Sanchez. Cotton's fastball upwards of 93 miles an hour. The changeup, as Flash told you, around 77. That's a big difference. You know what he kind of reminds me of pitching like that is Marco Estrada from Toronto, although Estrada does not throw as hard as Cotton does.
Yeah, they always say you want 10 or 11 miles an hour difference.
His ball's hitting the air to left field, and second consecutive hitter is going to fly out to Chris Davis. That's out number 2. Time to check out the weather conditions here in Oakland. We told you it's a hot day, and the weather is presented by City MD. Feeling under the weather, just walk into City MD Urgent Care. Yeah, 90 degrees. That's a little warm for this area. 35% humidity and the wind at 6 miles an hour. I think they're just getting us ready for the East Coast when we get back home, Flash. It's kind of toasty here today. This is the warmest of the days that we've been here.
I think this is the warmest day I've ever been here in all the years coming out to Oakland.
Speaking of warm, here's Aaron Judge. And the pitch is swung on a miss. I've been coming here longer than you, and I think I could say the same thing. So Judge swings and misses. There are the numbers. They're all good. Judge has reached base safely in 20 straight games. And he swings and fouls this one back, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Third consecutive hitter that Cotton's had the 0-2 count on. Of course, the players sporting the blue hats once again. This is a Father's Day weekend throughout Major League Baseball. And the letters and the numbers highlighted in blue. Pitch is fouled off by Judge. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there, and happy Father's Day to you, Kenny.
Thank you very much, Flash. The same to you. Did you hear from all of them yet?
I did.
All right, that's good.
2 out of the 3 reached out early, and then, you know, the youngest guy waited a little while. How about you?
Yeah, I heard from everybody. My daughter was the last one because she just landed. There is call, strike 3. Cotton has a 1-2-3 first inning as Judge is called out on strikes. We're on to the bottom half of the first, no score. Him this afternoon here at the Coliseum in Oakland, and the defense is presented by Geico. I should say the lineups first. Matt Joyce will be in right field, Chad Pinder in short. Jed Lowry will be at second base, Chris Davis in left field. Yeah, it's been a long trip. Ryan Healy will be at first base, Stephen Vogt's the designated hitter. Matt Chapman will be in third, Jacob Bruckman will be in center, and Josh Fegley will be doing the catching.
Well, that lineup for the Oakland A's, we'll get a look at Luis Sessa, who just finished up his warm-up tosses. This will be his second game, 5.40 ERA. We'll look at our Pitcher scouting report, which is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's the 7th starter for the New York Yankees this year, and on June 18th, that is a pretty good deal for the Yankees. And he's been on a good run lately at AAA Scranton, 2.25 ERA over his last 3 starts, and he does it with his changeup. He throws it about 33% of the time, one of his best pitches.
He'll be facing Matt Joyce, who had a good game here yesterday. He reached 5 times. And he's had a good series, 6 for 9. And those are his season numbers. 224, 8 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Led off the game yesterday. First pitch that he saw, he hit out of the ballpark against Masahiro Tanaka. And this one's downstairs for ball 1.
Well, he came in here a couple of days ago, Kenny. His batting average just over 200. Now it's up to 224. So he's taken to this leadoff spot pretty nicely.
Sessa evens the count at a ball and a strike. Moving fastball, 95 miles an hour, low and away for ball 2. Now, Sessa won his last start at pitching for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. That was at Lehigh Valley. I think they're the Iron Pigs. Pitch is lined to right field for Judge. He's there, comes in a few steps, makes the catch for the out. Now we'll take a look at the Yankees defense presented by Geico. You saw Judge in right. He's got Gardner in left and Williams in center today. Headley, Gregorius, Castro, Carter in the infield. Sanchez doing the catching for Luis Sessa.
Well, Joe Girardi was talking before the game about Luis Sessa, and it just took him a little time to get going this year. And mentioned the last 3 starts at ERA 2.25.
First pitch to Chad Pinder is in there for a call strike. His last start I mentioned was against Lehigh Valley, the Iron Pigs. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, a couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. It was a 10-1 victory for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Ball and a strike on Pinder, who missed yesterday's game. He had an illness, but back in there this afternoon. Little chopper right in front of the plate. Let's see who's going to make the play. It's Sanchez who will throw him out for out number 2. Sanchez moving pretty well on that play. Looks like that leg is okay. So 2 up and 2 down for the A's here in the bottom of the first.
Well, you're right, Kenny. I think the training staff and the coaching staff going to be paying attention to Gary Sanchez behind the plate and how he's moving. Looks pretty good right there. Smooth play.
Here's one more look at it. Goes to the bare hand and makes the accurate throw. 2 up, 2 down. They'll bring up Jed Lowry, a second baseman. Lowry's had a pretty good series. He's had 4 hits and 13 at-bats. He takes the first pitch for a call strike. 2 singles, a triple, and a home run for Lowry against the Yankees in the first 3 games. Knocking on the door, 300, hitting 291. Fouls this at the plate, and quickly Sessa jumps ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. And in the early going here, Flash, Sessa's working very quickly.
Yeah, working quickly, throwing strikes, mixing all his pitches early here in the first inning.
Elevates the fastball, didn't get the result, wouldn't chase. Lowry wouldn't chase it. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Yankees into salvage mode, trying to pick up a win in the final game of this series. That's upstairs, 2-2, a little tight as well.
It's surprising too, the Oakland A's not having a good year, but they're actually very good at home. 21-13 record here at the Oakland Coliseum.
Two pitch on the way, and now the count is full at 3-2. One thing to remember, the Yankees are the only team in the American League, as Chris Davis is on deck, who have not been swept this season. The only team in the league. And this ball is popped foul, and it's going to go out of play. This is the deepest into a season without being swept since 1980. So the Yankees are playing some pretty good baseball this year. They might lose a series, but they're not going to let you sweep them. Sessa with the 3-2 pitch, and it's high ball 4, and Lowry will be aboard. So he moves on down to first base and will bring up Chris Davis, the left fielder. Well, earlier in this series, the Yankees stopped a 9-game hitting streak for Chris Davis. He had been swinging a bat well coming into this series, but the Yankees have done pretty well against him. He's 1 for 13 with 7 strikeouts in the first 3 games of this series. Dangerous hitter, 17 home runs, and he swings, hits a ground ball to short. Gregorius has it, flips to Castro. Davis grounds out on the first pitch. He forces the runner, and at the end of 1 inning, we have no score here in Oakland. Brought to you by Toyota. Prius Prime is the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees, and the conversation goes like this. How was your love of baseball impacted by your father during your childhood? And Bronx Bomber 6921 says, Dad took me to my first Yankee game in 1977, Game 6 of the World Series. That was Reggie's 3-home run game. Then taught me everything I know about playing baseball. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag #YanksPriusPrime to keep the conversation going.
Pretty good first game to go to, huh? Reggie's 3 home runs.
Here's Matt Holliday leading it off for the Yankees here in the second inning. Takes a pitch high from Cotton, ball 1. Holliday missed yesterday's game with an allergic reaction. Back in there this afternoon. 45 runs batted in, puts him in the top 10 in the American League. And he'll take a pitch downstairs, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Matt Holliday, the last 5 games, 1 for 14, but maybe some good memories against Cotton with that home run, Yankee Stadium on May 27th.
Oh, he hit a changeup out, didn't he?
He did.
Pitch is fouled. You don't want to stay out of play too quickly here, but this one's going to be back in the seats. A lot of room here at the Coliseum. So this was the matchup that proved to be the difference in the game in New York on May 27th. Yankees won it 3-2. Holliday with the big 2-run homer. Three balls and a strike, as Cotton seems to remember that home run. Matt Holliday actually played 93 games for the Oakland A's back in 2009. 11 home runs and 54 runs batted in before being traded to the St. Louis Cardinals. And of course, last year was his final year with St. Louis, signing with the Yankees over the winter. 3-1 pitch. It's a high fly ball. This is deep left center field. Looking up is Brugman. This one is gone. A home run for Matt Holliday. That's one of those remember me home runs as the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. Holliday's 14th home run of the year puts the Yankees out in front.
Well, when you you're Matt Holliday and you get ahead in the count 3-1, you can hunt a fastball. You eliminate the changeup, which is the best pitch for Cotton. And that was pretty much right down the middle. And you see the reaction of Matt Holliday. He knew he made solid contact. Like you said, Kenny, 14th home run of the year. Yankees on the board early.
We are told that one went 433 feet. Nearly 440 off the bat of Matt Holliday. Here's Starlin Castro. He'll take a pitch for a call strike.
We'll take a look on Yes Mo, brought to you by your local Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Great extension to the middle of the field.
Castro takes a pitch outside for a ball. Castro having a good year. So is Holliday. Castro a 300 hitter against both left-handers and right-handers this year. Actually, he's hit right-handers a little better. 335 against righties. 305 against lefties. It works out to a 328 batting average overall. And he fouls a pitch off, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. So Matt Holliday's leadoff homer in here in the second inning puts the Yankees out in front 1-0. You know, date that baseball and just hold it so that when that youngster grows up, he'll know what happened at the ball game that day.
Nice Father's Day present right there.
Yeah. I'm thinking I wasn't quite that young, but my dad took me to my first game. Good swing by Castro, and he fouls it back. Of course, that was many moons ago, but I can remember it like it was yesterday. I was 5 years old. It was a doubleheader. My mom was amazed that I could sit through both games.
Yankee Stadium?
No, it was at actually Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. That long ago, Flash. The 1-2 pitch, and it's spoiled by Castro.
There's that good changeup that Cotton likes to throw, about 77, 78 miles an hour. 15 miles an hour difference off his fastball. Castro does a good job just fighting it off. He's fooled at the off-speed pitch.
Looks like he throws it almost like a screwball, turns the wrist over. Castro spoils another one. He's handing out souvenirs in the early going here. Castro will be followed by Gregorius and Headley now, with the Yankees up 1-0. I mentioned Holliday's home run at 433 missed 440 by 7 feet. The Yankees have more homers over 440 than any other team. They've hit 11 of them. The likes of Judge, of course, Sanchez, of course, led by Judge's 495-foot blast. That's some rarefied power. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Meredith Marakovitz has a little bit about what's going on with the uniforms today. Meredith?
Well, Kenny, you mentioned the fact that they're wearing those baby blue hats along with the numbers in their uniform are blue as well. That's all to raise awareness for prostate cancer. And Major League Baseball is actually going to donate all the royalty payments for those specialty uniforms and caps to the Prostate Cancer Foundation and Stand Up to Cancer. And so far, more than $3 million has been pledged by fans and Major League Baseball clubs in the 2017 Home Run Challenge. So great cause, guys. All for Father's Day and raising awareness of prostate cancer. And I have to wish you both a happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you. Aren't you going to wish your dad happy Father's Day?
Disco's definitely watching. I wished him one earlier. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
All right, that's pretty good. Base hit for Didi Gregorius, whose 17-game hitting streak was broken yesterday. He starts a new one today with a solid single to right field with 1 out here in the second. Disco. Happy Father's Day, Dan. Here's Chase Headley, who had a hitting streak broken yesterday, a 6-gamer. The shift is on with Headley at the plate. They take a pitch for a call strike. Headley's had himself a very good road trip. 9 for 23 The Yankees have only gotten one home run from a left-handed hitter on this trip, and Chase Headley hit it in Anaheim. So you can see the difference being away from Yankee Stadium, what it does to the lefty hitters. Gregorius, one stolen base on the year. He's also been caught one time, and he's at first with one out. We're in the top of the second. If you're just joining us, the Yankees got a leadoff home run from Matt Holliday here in the second inning and lead 1-0. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Three infielders on the right side of second base. That pitch is low for a ball. You know, I was thinking that Stephen Vogt might get the opportunity to catch today, Flash, but then I realized with Cotton's best pitch being a changeup and Vogt not being able to throw out many runners stealing, I think that's why Feglic's catching today.
Yeah, Phegley definitely the better defensive catcher. Vogt, the left-handed hitter, known more as an offensive guy.
Vogt is in there as the DH today. There he is, Stephen Vogt. Changeup is in there. Looked like it hit the inside corner. For call strike 3, Headley caught looking. And there were 2 down.
Well, is there a good changeup? And you mentioned the fade that it has, Kenny, as that ball starts off the plate in, finishes on the inside corner, and it just locked Chase Headley up.
So Headley back to the bench. 3rd strikeout for Cotton. And we'll bring up Chris Carter. Had a rough afternoon here yesterday. Struck out 4 times. Pitches inside for a ball. Carter has a couple of home runs in this series, but he's also struck out 9 times. So it's been feast or famine. He takes a pitch high, and it's a ball and a strike. Carter looking down at third base coach Joe Espada. The 2-0 pitch is on the way, and Carter takes it for a call strike. The reason why he reminds me of Marco Estrada, changeups down, fastballs up. In other words, he gets you looking downstairs and he tries to pass you upstairs.
Featuring a pretty good curveball early on in this game as well. The Yankees a different look.
That's way upstairs. 3-1 on Carter. We saw what happened on the last 3-1 pitch. Matt Holliday hit it 433 feet.
Such a luxury for a hitter when you get ahead in the count 3-1. You can kind of just zone in on one pitch, whether it's a fastball, the cutter, eliminate the changeup, anything off speed.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. 3-2. 2 outs. Didi Gregorius at first base. So he'll be on the move on this 3-2 pitch. Three-two pitch. It is low, ball 4. So Carter draws a walk and the inning continues. Gregorius moves into scoring position, and he'll bring up Mason Williams. First walk of the afternoon for Jarrell Cotton. Phegley goes out to visit. So Mason Williams called up the other day. The Yankees needed some insurance in center field. And since he's been here, he's gone 2 for 7. With a run batted in. Speedy center fielder, covers a lot of ground defensively. And right now has a chance to do some damage with some runners on base with 2 outs here in the top of the second. And the first pitch, he swings and fouls it back out of play. Williams' 2 hits in this series have gone through the first and second baseman on in the right field. And as I look at Lowry right now, he's pulled over a little bit more than he was. A little bit closer to the first baseman, Healy. So he's trying to guard that hole a little bit, leaving the middle open a little bit more. The 0-1 pitch, high and inside, and it's ball and a strike. Williams was hitting .243 down at Scranton Wilkes-Barre and using his speed with 12 stolen bases, caught 3 times. Cotton deals, and it's inside, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike.
Cotton had a 1-2-3 first inning, but laboring here in the second. Pitch count already at 41.
Cotton made the opening day roster, struggled, was sent to the minors, then recalled.
27 pitches already in the second inning. He has an ERA over 10 in the second inning.
Outside, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. So after walking Carter, he falls behind Mason Williams. On deck, Brett Gardner. See, Williams should get a decent pitch to hit here. Pitch is hit high in the air to right field. Matt Joyce moves over towards the gap, and he'll put it away, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead on the strength of a leadoff home run by Matt Holliday. His 14th of the season, 433 feet away.
You're eligible, you show up. I mean, this is something I've heard from a couple different people about. Well, you're going to fly them across country for one day. How many divisions have been lost by one game in the course of history? How many playoff spots have not been guaranteed because of one game? Yeah, it's not ideal to be all the way out here. Yeah, I get that. But he had a travel day where he didn't play. All our other players had a travel day where they played the next day. You know, so, you know, they played that day and they played. So it's just, if you got people available that are the best, you want them here.
That was manager Joe Girardi on why Aroldis Chapman has been activated today. Kyle Higashioka has been sent back down to the minor leagues. And we saw Chapman before the game today. He looked ready to go to me. And he's right. I've been on a team that lost by one game. That was not a good feeling. Ryan Healy's at the plate. Last 4 games, he's 8 for 17, 5 extra base hits, and 3 home runs. He has really been on fire. Hit 2 here yesterday. 2 long home runs. He's This guy's got all kinds of power. 17 homers on the year. Sessa deals good. Slider is swung on in, missed strike 3. Sessa's first strikeout of the afternoon.
First strikeout for Sessa, and you know the whole deal with Chapman, the bullpen for the Yankees has been struggling. I mean, obviously, so the bullpen looks a whole lot better when you have that big left-hander pitch in the 9th inning, and it sounds like he's going to get an inning today anyway, whether the Yankees are up or not. So you know what, it's worth his time to fly out here cross country, get yourself some work, and look forward to that off day tomorrow.
Here's the DH for the A's this afternoon. Catcher by trade, Stephen Vogt. 4 home runs, 19 runs batted in. That's his first pitch, poured in there for a call strike. Yankees won, A's nothing. We're in the bottom of the 2nd. A toasty afternoon here in Oakland. Downstairs, a ball and a strike. And there they go. All kinds of fans being broken out this afternoon. The 1-1 pitch, and it's popped up. Let's see who's going to make the play. Looks like Didi has a beat on it and puts it away. Well, not many clouds in the sky this afternoon. In fact, I can't see any. So there's not a backdrop for the players on those pop-ups, and a strong sun here this afternoon.
Didi with the sunglasses, shielding the sun with his glove, makes the play. We saw Chase Headley have some trouble yesterday afternoon. There's that sky you're talking about. No fun day games here in Oakland with the pop-ups.
Here's Matt Chapman, the 3rd baseman. First series in the big leagues. Called up just the other night. And he takes a pitch downstairs for ball 1. He's got a major league batting average. His first hit was a game winner. He's 3 for 11. 3 runs batted in this series. He scored a couple of runs. There's a pitch for a strike, 1-1. And Flash, what we've seen of him defensively, he looks very solid at 3rd base.
Yeah, that was a scouting report. A strong throwing arm, solid defender, and getting some hits. Obviously looks very comfortable. And I noticed the first game, just a very simple approach at the plate. Very quiet, doesn't have a whole lot of movement. Looks like he's going to be a good one.
Pitch is popped up again. This is a short center field. Didi can't make the play. Who's going to make it? It's going to be Gardner. 4 Yankees converge. Gardner makes the catch, and the A's are gone here in the 2nd inning. Tough sun indeed here in Oakland. Here comes Gardner. He was the furthest away, and he makes the play.
It's time for our Coors Banquet Timeless Moment on June 18, 2005. After 155 plate appearances with the bases loaded, Derek Jeter hits his first career grand slam against Cubs reliever Joe Borowski. 155 plate appearances for Derek. Didn't get the job done. Finally goes deep. Grand slam.
It's worth the wait.
Yankees lead 1-0. Top of the third, it'll be Brett Gardner, Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge. Brett Gardner had a line drive to left field his first at bat. As Jarrell Cotton has labored already 44 pitches in this ball game. There's been a common theme in this series for the Oakland A's. Starting pitchers not going deep. The bullpen has been worked. Well, the Yankees will finish up this road trip. They'll return home for a 6-game homestand against the Angels in Texas. Then a road trip to Chicago and Houston will end the month. Mike Trout is traveling with the Angels to New York, so he's getting close to his return.
Let's see, for Oakland, after the Yankees leave this afternoon, they've got the Houston Astros coming in for 4 games.
Brett now 5 for 25 on this road trip. 13 home runs, 31 RBIs. And another Yankee batter ahead in the count, 3-1 against Cotton. Cotton coming off a loss against the Miami Marlins his last outing. 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs in that game. Gardner hits his ball well to right field. Joyce turns around. It's going to be off the wall. Brett Gardner's going to have a leadoff double here in the third.
Well, Flash, happens when you fall behind on counts. You saw what happened to Holliday, 3-1 pitch. He hit it in the seats. Gardner did not miss a home run by much here off the scoreboard in right field. Ball had a little overspin on it. Joyce had no chance. He's retrieving right away. Backs off, plays it well, but Gardner has himself a solid 2-base hit.
A leadoff double for Brett Gardner will bring up Gary Sanchez. Hit a fly ball to left field his first at bat. And you look at Cotton's numbers. He has struggled here in Oakland. 1-3 with a 7.76 ERA at home. Much better on the road. 3.74 ERA. .292 batting average here against Cotton in Oakland. Gary Sanchez back in the lineup, hitting second today. An RBI opportunity here. We'll see if he's going to look to drive the ball the other way, at least advance Gardner to third. Way out in front of an off-speed pitch his first at bat.
Lately, he's been very effective in these situations. Runners in scoring position. Had a big hit here the other night before he was injured. Tied the ball game with a single.
I believe the Yankees are fortunate with Gary Sanchez back in the lineup here the last game of the series. When he left the game the other night, didn't know how bad it was going to be. Just missed a couple of days. Aaron Hicks still not ready to go. We'll get this afternoon off, an off day tomorrow, maybe Tuesday back in the Bronx.
Hicks was taking batting practice today, though, and he's hitting the ball effectively, just not ready to run around the field quite yet.
It's the 0-2 from Cotton. Big swing and a miss by Gary Sanchez. Looked like a cut fastball. It's the 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Jarrell Cotton.
Well, Gardner does not advance. Yeah, you can see the movement on that ball, down and away. Sanchez couldn't reach it.
With 1 down, will bring up Aaron Judge. He struck out his first at bat, and all over the country you have Aaron Judge fans.
Those black robes might not play so well this afternoon.
A hot day here in Oakland as Aaron Judge takes an off-speed pitch inside for ball 1. Batting average at .333. Aaron walked yesterday, had 3 strikeouts in that ball game. This ball hit well the other way. It's going to be a base hit for Aaron Judge. Brett Gardner around third. He's being waved home by Joe Espada. The throw's going to be high, and Aaron Judge cruises into second base. A base hit and an RBI, and not a nice job by Matt Joyce in right field for the A's.
No, you're right, Flash, because not only did he not get Gardner, who has plenty of speed, Joe Espada just sent him right away. He airmailed the cutoff man, and that allows Judge to move to second base. So good base running by Aaron Judge as Matt Joyce. Gardner hesitated as well, but of course he's got the speed to make up the time. Espada down the line sending him. And there goes Judge to second. The high throw not being able to be cut off. Judge recognizes, sees the height of the throw. Now he's in scoring position for Matt Holliday. Good base running by both Gardner and Judge.
Now tied with Nelson Cruz with those 53 RBIs for the American League lead. Matt Holliday first pitch swinging, pops it up. Fegley gets rid of the mask, makes the play.
By the way, that was Judge's 53rd run batted in of the year. And the Yankees are only in their 67th game.
Well, you think back to spring training, Kenny.
Yeah.
What would you have thought about Aaron Judge? Say, okay, these numbers will be acceptable for an everyday right fielder.
I thought for him, the Yankees would take 25 home runs and 70, 75 runs batted in. That's what I thought. I don't think that anymore.
53 already for Aaron Judge. 2 down to bring up Starlin Castro. He struck out his first at bat.
And I think I started to elevate those numbers when I saw him hit the ball off Steinbrenner Field logo on top of the scoreboard at Steinbrenner Field in spring training in Tampa. When he hit the ball up there, I said, he doesn't have to get it all to get out of the ballpark. If you can hit a ball that far when you get it, what happens when you don't get all of it? It'll still get out. So now he's proving that to be true. And turning into a tremendous run producer. Not only driving in runs, but he's scored 60 runs.
Yeah, for me, it's not the home runs and the distance. It's a quality of the at-bats, right? Day in and day out, with runners in scoring position. Be that solid RBI guy. And even just that at-bat right there, going the other way, nice little base hit. No, you're going to pick up an RBI, not over swinging. Ability to stay in the strike zone.
I don't know if you were there for that home run. The Phillies were in. And it was batting practice when he hit it.
Castro, a little check swing on a 3-0 count, which is going to end the top of the third. But Aaron Judge, a base hit to right field to drive in Brett Gardner, his 53rd RBI of the year. The Yankees lead 2-0.
Report brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Yankees top prospect Gleyber Torres was placed on the 7-day DL with a hyperextended left elbow. He slid into home yesterday, got injured on that play. He had x-rays. Those were negative, and the Yankees announced that he'll see team physician Dr. Ahmad tomorrow. Not great news on Torres, and we'll actually take a look at the play that it happened on in just a minute. But guys, definitely a guy in the organization that they have a lot of high hopes for. They're hoping it's not too serious.
Well, thank you very much, Meredith. Luis Cessa back out for the bottom of the third. It'll be Jacob Brugman, Josh Phegley, and Matt Joyce. Cessa has looked sharp early on in this one. Not giving up a hit yet, has only walked one, struck out one. Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 to Jacob Brugman.
Yeah, Torres, who was promoted from Trenton to Scranton Wilkes-Barre, hitting 300 at the AAA level.
Good slider right there from Luis Cessa. Second strikeout. Here's the play at the plate that Meredith was talking about.
Base hit. Here comes Torres, and you know, we've always talked about sliding head first. And years ago, I remember Kenny Lofton hurting a shoulder. Now it's an elbow.
And Gleyber Torres actually tweeted out, "Thank you for all the good wishes. I feel better today, just have to rest." So he's feeling a little bit better, guys, and he'll be evaluated by Dr. Ahmad tomorrow and hopefully back on the field soon.
Yeah, speedy recovery.
One down to bring up Josh Phegley. You mentioned that batting average over 300, Kenny. He kind of got to AAA and started off a little bit slow, and it's been getting hot lately, so hopefully this injury won't last too long.
Did you feel you were a warm weather player when things started to warm up? I didn't like playing when it was cold. You know?
I think you had to get through that first month of April, right, with a respectable batting average, and then get things going in May and June, July.
You used to look at the league leaders after April, and everybody's playing for a West Coast team. Or just about everybody.
Phegley slaps one right back up the middle. First hit of the afternoon for the Oakland A's.
So Cessa, he's signaling to the middle infielders. He wants to know who's going to be covering in case a ball is hit back to him. It's you know, they teach you in Little League. Anticipate what you're going to do when the ball comes to you. So he wants to know who's covering at second, and right now it's Didi Gregorius. So if there's a ground ball back to Cessa, Gregorius will be covering at second base.
Yankees going with the shift again in the infield, playing Matt Joyce to pull. Let's look at Didi Gregorius by second base. Matt Joyce had a line drive to right field, his first at bat. As Kenny mentioned earlier, a nice afternoon yesterday. Leadoff home run, a walk in the second. 3 for 3 with 2 walks for Matt Joyce. A changeup just misses off the plate. Yankees lead 2-0. A solo home run from Matt Holliday, an RBI base hit from Aaron Judge, his 53rd RBI of the year. He's trying to salvage the last game of this series, get back home, look forward to a homestand. Comes the 2-1 from Cessa. Joyce hits his ball to center field. Mason Williams on the move. Will not be able to make the play. It's up against the wall. Phegley to third. Matt Joyce continues his hot hitting with a double. The Oakland A's looking to do some damage here in the third inning.
That's Joyce's 7th hit in this series against the Yankees. We told you to reach base 5 times yesterday. Gets a head on the count, gets a pitch to drive. He's a good low fastball hitter. You can see with the swing, the ball almost gets wedged underneath the fence. Williams going to recover. Phegley making sure the ball's not caught. Now he sees that it's over Williams' head, and he's able to get as far as third base, held up by Chip Hale, the third base coach.
One down will bring up Chad Pinder, playing shortstop this afternoon. He's 0 for 1. Hit a little weak ground ball in front of home plate that Gary Sanchez was able to take care of. So first sign of trouble for Luis Cessa this afternoon. 8 home runs, 21 RBIs for Pinder. Yankees playing the infield back. They will trade an out for a run.
We've seen Pinder start a game in a series in right field. The last 16 games played, he's started 11 at short, 3 in right, and 2 at second base. So he's a versatile type player.
Well, those versatile type players becoming so valuable now, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Not that he's the 25th man on the roster, but you see players like that, 23rd, 24th, 25th man, who can fill in just about anywhere. I guess that I wouldn't say it started with Ben Zobrist, but he's sort of like the prime example of it lately.
Even to the point where organizations are grooming those super utility guys. Tyler Wade comes to mind, AAA for the Yankees, as Pinder fouls off a fastball.
And here, Rob Refsnyder, with the exception that he can't play shortstop, but he can play second and left and right and first base. I think the Yankees gave up on the third base experiment with him in spring training. But those players, as you said, Fletch, very, very valuable. They give people days off. It's a tough, long grind of a season.
Pinder shoots it down the right field line. Aaron Judge on the move, not going to be able to make the play as it finds the seats.
Trying to figure out a way to put Pinder away here. A strikeout would be most valuable.
Talk about Pinder and his versatility, but not too bad at the plate either. 8 home runs and only 123 at bats, so getting some production. It's a 1-2, goes off speed. Pinder just slaps it into right field. And that's going to split the gap. As Fegley scores, Matt Joyce will score. And Chad Pinder, a double and a couple of RBIs. We're all tied up at 2.
Yeah, he's had a good series too. 5 for 11 now against the Yankees. So the first hitter struck out, then a single by Fegley, a double by Joyce, followed by another double. Well, Pinder just reaches out and slashes this one to the gap. Wasn't his A swing, but he got the good wood on it. The ball jumps between Williams and Judge, and the A's have tied the ball game.
With 1 down, will bring up second baseman Jed Lowry. He walked his first at bat. Yankees playing him to pull in the infield. Big swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour from Luis Cessa. Lowry having a good year, batting average just under 300. The 8 home runs, 24 RBIs. Switch hitter hitting from the left side.
This outburst by the A's here kind of livened up the crowd here at the Coliseum. Nice to hear that the drummer's back.
Luis Cessa wants Gary Sanchez to go through the signs again.
Yeah, with men on, he slows things down. With nobody on, he's working quickly.
That's what you liked about Luis Cessa last year when we saw him with the Yankees, working fast, throwing strikes. comes right at Jed Lowry. It'll be a ground ball to Starlin Castro at second base. Chad Pinder will move to third.
Looked like he got in on the hands of Lowry. Yep. Down on the label.
With 2 down, I'll bring up the left fielder. Chris Davis hit a ground ball to Didi Gregorius, his first at bat. Dangerous hitter with the 17 home runs, but you can make some pitches out over the plate to him. Big swing and a miss guy. First pitch slider for a strike. Sessa in the minor leagues, a 3-6 record, 4.15 ERA, but his last 3 starts were much better. So 1-1 to Davis. Fastball misses up and in. One for 14 with 7 strikeouts for Chris Davis. The Yankees have done a nice job with him.
And we mentioned this yesterday. If you were to venture a guess, the average baseball fan, which player has hit the most home runs in the major leagues the last 2 seasons? I don't know if anybody would, maybe around here they would pick him.
Well, Davis gets a hold of this one. The Yankees had done a nice job against Chris Davis until this shot. A 2-run bomb. That's going to be his 18th home run of the year, and the A's getting it going here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yep. Not many would pick Chris Davis, but he's hit 60 home runs in the last 2 years. The Yankees had handled him to that hanging breaking ball, and he put a charge into it. Yep, that's upstairs. He likes the ball up. And he's hit enough of them. He knew that he got it. 42 home runs a year ago, 18 this year.
Pitching coach Larry Rothschild out for a little talk with Luis Sessa. Looked awfully strong the first couple of innings, but getting beat up a little bit here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Second time through the order.
4 runs on 4 hits. The big 2-run shot by Chris Davis. We'll bring up Ryan Healy, who had a nice afternoon yesterday against Masahiro Tanaka, a couple of home runs. He's playing first base this afternoon. He's one of the 2 strikeouts for Luis Sessa this afternoon.
Something about day baseball that brings out the best in Davis and this guy Healy. They both hit a lot of home runs in daytime. Davis with 18 homers, half of them in day games.
Well, we talked about this a little bit. The ball really carries here during the day, a little tougher at night here in Oakland. Comes the 2-1, fouled off. Slider from Luis Sessa finally finishes up the bottom of the 3rd inning, but the A's did some damage in the bottom of the 3rd. Chris Davis with his 18th home run of the year, a 2-run shot, and the A's lead 4-2. Tradition this Wednesday, June 21st, when the Yankees take on the Angels. It's cap night. The first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees cap courtesy of Cannon. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window. Yankees clubhouse shops or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. We're back for the top of the fourth. The Yankees trailing 4-2. Bring up Didi, Gregorius, Chase Headley, and Chris Carter. Didi a base hit in the second inning. Batting average now at .330. Had his 17-game hitting streak snapped yesterday. Good changeup for a strike. During that hitting streak, Didi hit .361 on our Audi scoreboard. The Yankees trailing 4-2. Four hits for the Yankees. A solo home run from Matt Holliday leading off the second inning. Aaron Judge a base hit and an RBI in the third. The Yankees going to have to play catch up again.
That's kind of been the theme throughout the series here.
Comes 2-2 from Cotton, goes changeup again, and Didi Gregorius hits this ball well down the line. Will it stay fair? And that is a home run for Didi Gregorius. Looked like out of the box, Didi did not think that ball would stay fair. It did. That's going to be his 7th home run of the year for 3A's.
Well, Didi, whose hitting streak was stopped yesterday at 17, he's 2 for 2 today. A single, and now this booming home run down the right field line. Just a matter of fair or foul. He doesn't really give it the lean. Yeah, he does. Leads that left shoulder over. Ball stays fair, and now he can trot around the bases. And there you get a look at it.
Bob Melvin coming out of the A's dugout and have a conversation with Ted Barrett.
And Ted Barrett is calling an umpire in from first base, John Tumpain. Are they going to look at this? I thought that was quite clear, Flash, that this is fair.
Well, we'll take another look. It's clearly fair.
Yeah.
You would think that this replay would not take long. Right at the top there, you can see the baseball clearly fair.
I'm trying to look and see if anybody's up in the bullpen. No.
This will be a crew chief review. Yeah, I would not think this would take an awful long time. That was a pretty clear view.
Well, 2 umpires are looking at it. The one on first base, that's John Tumpain, and the home plate umpire, Ted Barrett, straddles the line and looks, so he has a backup call.
Well, they're ruling it is a home run for Didi, his 7th of the year. One minute and 4 seconds for that review.
So add that to the game time.
Bring up Chase Headley, was caught looking at a changeup his first at bat, and he's going to take a breaking ball hit by a pitch.
I don't think there was any intent there.
Now batting, 48, Chris Carter.
Let's see. The target is away. And right to the back pocket. So the tying runs on base.
Chris Carter up. He walked in the second. 64 pitches already for Cotton. First pitch fastball fouled off. Chris Carter 4 for 22, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a walk. 5 games at first base on this road trip.
Two of the 4 hits left the ballpark.
We've seen the A's elevate some fastballs to Chris Carter. Did not have a great day yesterday. 4 strikeouts for Carter. He's behind in the count 1-2 here. Headley takes his lead off first, not going anywhere, and another elevated fastball to Chris Carter. 1 down here in the 4th.
5th strikeout for Cotton, and this seems to be the passing zone, as Flash pointed out, the high fastball. And this one might have been maybe a hair out of the strike zone, but too close to take, and Carter can't get on top of it.
1 down will bring up center fielder Mason Williams. He had a fly ball to center field or to right field his first at bat.
We all know how Headley is picks his spots to steal. He hasn't been caught this year. He's 6-0.
Not going.
Looks like he thought about it. False start. Maybe didn't get the jump he wanted. Beckley's a pretty good defensive catcher. Trying to figure out how quickly Cotton gets rid of the ball here.
Oh, the bunt, and a good one. Chapman's going to let it roll, and it's going to roll foul.
Good decision by the young third baseman. Good try by the young center fielder. Once that ball got off the grass, there's a lip there, and it will create even more momentum to go foul. Good bunt. Looks like it's going to be fair, and then when it hits the lip, it's going to take a right turn as you're looking at it, and it goes foul.
Obviously Chapman a rookie, but obviously you play in your home ballpark. You know exactly how those lines are going to play. Nice bid by Mason Williams, now hitting .250. He was hitting .243 at AAA Scranton.
Well, one thing that bunt attempt does is brings Chapman in a little bit more at third base and opens up the left side if he slashes something in that direction.
Looked like a changeup for a strike.
.75 miles an hour. That's called a strike.
Comes the 1-2 from Cotton. He has 5 strikeouts already. Headley is on the move. Fouled off by Williams.
I would think he picked the good pitch to go on Cotton. He flips that 75-mile-an-hour changeup. You got a chance for 2 or 3 steps on the way to second.
Yeah, it's tough for a catcher to let that ball travel to him and actually wait and then deliver a good throw. You want to get out in front of home plate and get there quickly. Not the easiest pitch to throw on. Headley not going this time, and another changeup misses down and in. Throws that changeup a lot to left-handed hitters who are hitting .228 coming into this game against Cotton. Headley taking his lead off of first. He's not going, and a high fastball and a swing and a miss. 6th strikeout of the afternoon for Jarrell Cotton.
I think one of the things that helps Cotton out is the changeup. When they finally get the fastball, you recognize this pitch is a lot faster than the changeup, and you're going to have to be quick to get to it, and he leaves his zone. Discipline went awry.
2 down, back to the top of the lineup for Brett Gardner. Had a double in the 3rd, scored a run. See if Chase Headley tries to steal a bag here and get in scoring position. He's on the move. Fegley with the throw, a little low, and the nice tag by the shortstop, Chad Pinder. Fegley appreciates that. If the Yankees add on 1 run here in the 4th inning, a solo shot by Didi Gregorius, they still trail 4-3. Baseball break, which is brought to you by T-Mobile. Mike Trout, you look at the numbers, 337, 16 home runs on the disabled list, but he will travel with the Angels on the upcoming road trip. That torn ligament in the thumb. Such a good player that even when he just travels with a team, Kenny, it makes news. And going to be the probable pitchers: Parker Bridwell against Pineda, Nolasco against Montgomery, Jesse Chavez against Luis Severino.
Looks like Mike Scioscia has liked what Bridwell has done out of the bullpen. He pitched well out of the bullpen against the Yankees. He rewards him with a start.
Yankees trailing 4-3 at the bottom of the 4th inning. Luis Cessa first pitch changeup misses on our Audi scoreboard. Stephen Vogt, Matt Chapman, and Jacob Brugman. Vogt, the designated hitter this afternoon. Kenny, you mentioned having a tough time, Vogt does, throwing runners out this year. Opponents have been successful in each of their last 25 stolen base attempts against him. And he's tossed out just 2 of 40, which is 5% for the season. So a reason why he is the DH this afternoon. This is a guy who made back-to-back All-Star games the last 2 years. Got off to a slow start. Batting average starting to creep up a little bit now to 222. Luis Cessa had an easy first inning, an easy second inning, had to work a little bit in the 3rd. The A's scored 4 runs. Good changeup in there for strike 2.
Yeah, what Cessa has to do is just make the 3rd inning his bad inning and then go from there. Try and pitch more like he did in the first 2 innings. Hold them down, and the Yankee offense quite capable of erasing a 1-run lead.
Vogt drills one down the right field line. It's going to be a foul ball. Sessa looked so aggressive in the first couple of innings, jumping out ahead in counts. Falling behind a little bit in the third and falling behind here to Vogt in the fourth. Yankees trying to salvage his last game of a 4-game set against the Oakland A's. Travel back to New York, enjoy an off day tomorrow, and look forward to the Angels coming in. It's a 3-2. Ground ball to first base. Chris Carter up with it easily. One down here in the bottom of the fourth. One down will bring up third baseman Matt Chapman. At his first major league RBI on Friday night.
You see young players break in the league, and they create an impression. Then when you're looking at box scores, of course nowadays you don't have to wait for the newspaper. You go online, game's over, you check out the box score. Instantaneously it's right there, and you have a chance. You have a tendency to look and see what this young guy did in that game. And this is the type of player that I think fans are going to follow. He's made an impression on me in this series. He can definitely play his position. It's just a matter of how much he's going to hit.
You look at his AAA numbers, 16 home runs in AAA in a couple of months, so obviously he has some power. We haven't seen it yet at the big league level.
Yeah, he was tied for the Pacific Coast League in home runs.
Good changeup from Sessa. Throws that pitch about 33% of the time. It's a good one.
Yep, you have an iPad, you go to MLB Scores, and there you are. As soon as that last out is recorded, about 3 seconds later, the box score's there for you.
Be a 3-2 to Chapman. Goes with the slider down and away. A big swing and a miss. So the fourth strikeout for Luis Sessa. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, he got Chapman to leave the strike zone. We take a look at this on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. You can see the spin on the ball. Maybe you'll see it better than Chapman did because he went well out of the zone for it and strikes out.
4 strikeouts for Sessa. Jacob Brugman was one of those strikeouts. A good curveball in there for strike 1.
Like Chapman, Brugman recently recalled this is his 9th major league game.
It's his ball into right field for a 2-out base hit. First hit of the afternoon for Brugman. "70 pitches for Luis Sessa." Bring up Josh Fegley doing the catching this afternoon. He had a base hit in that 3rd inning, scored a run.
And it was Fegley who got it started with a 1-out single.
Brugman does not have a major league stolen base yet. Not running on that first pitch. Only had 3 stolen bases at AAA Nashville. Was thrown out 1 time. "1-0 to Fegley." Looks like we're going to have some action in the Yankee bullpen. As that pitch count now at 72, it looks like it's going to be Jonathan Holder. With the off day tomorrow, Joe Girardi has a luxury going to that bullpen a little bit earlier, trying to salvage the last game of this set.
And it'd be a lot nicer flight back to New York if the Yankees could put this one in the win column. Always trying to win on getaway day.
There goes Brugman. Swing and a miss. The throw by Sanchez. They're going to get him. Nice throw by Gary Sanchez. As Brugman trying to make a bid for his first major league stolen base. Gary Sanchez has different thoughts. Right on the money. The Yankees trail 4-3.
Had a review. There's the tag, and Brugman was ruled out, and it appeared that he was. As we go to the fifth, the A's are leading the Yankees by a score of 4-3. And right now, let's go to Ryan Ruocco back in the studio. Ryan. Going on now by City MD. When you need a doctor, just walk into City MD Urgent Care. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2017 models. Well, that's the city of San Francisco across the bay. We are here in Oakland. The A's are leading the Yankees by a score of 4-3 here at the Coliseum. And for the Yankees here in the fifth inning, we're going to go to the top of the order. As Brett Gardner, Gary Sanchez, and Aaron Judge will be batting. On our GMC scoreboard, the A's lead it by a score of 4-3. So review. Cost a little time there, and Jarrell Cotton has just finished up his warm-up tosses as the umbrella's been broken out because of the sun. Or in case it rains. I don't see any clouds, though.
I don't see that happening.
No. So Gardner will come to the plate. He's 1 for 2, scored a run, his 13th double of the year in the third. He was driven in by Aaron Judge. And he's also flied out to left field. So 1 for 2 against Jarrell Cotton, who so far has allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. And Gardner takes a pitch for a call strike. Gardner just missed a home run himself. He hit it high off the scoreboard in right field to pick up his 2-base hit. Cotton's had trouble keeping the ball in the park in his last few starts. That's high for a ball. Ball and a strike.
Getting ready for Aaron Judge's at bat.
And Judge putting on the ropes. Chad Green is warming up in the Yankee bullpen. The 1-1 pitch. Brett Gardner takes a call strike. That's the changeup in there. I was saying Cotton, his first 5 starts of the year allowed only 1 home run. His last 7 starts, he's allowed 12. This is his 3rd start in a row where he has allowed 2 home runs, as Holliday and Gregorius have taken him deep. Pitch hit on the ground and through into right field for a base hit, and that was kind of an unusual play. Ryan Healy does not have much experience at first base, and he went to cover the bag when the ball was hit. He might have had a play on that.
It looked like a changeup that was middle in, and Brett Gardner just drills it to right field. And you're right, Healy doesn't even make a bid going to his right. Quickly goes to first base.
So Gardner's now 2 for 3, representing the tying run. Let's take a look at the Volkswagen League leaders. Home runs in June. Ryan Healy with 8. Cody Bellinger, the Dodgers, with 8. Lorenzo Cain's home run bat is heated up. Sanchez, Smoke, and Adams all with 7. Sanchez is flied out and struck out. And he takes a pitch for a called strike. There's Aaron Judge on deck. And going to check on Brett Gardner. We just got news of the attendance this afternoon. 34,140 each game. There have been more people than the previous game here in this series. 21-8, 31-04, 31-41, and 34,140 on this Father's Day afternoon here in Oakland. This pitch is hit high in the air. Chris Davis coming on. The shortstop Pinder going back. Who's going to make the play? It's going to be the left fielder Davis. I would think a shortstop going back on a ball like that, he can't wait for the outfielder to call for it. Looks like court is almost in session out there. All rise. Here's Aaron Judge, who's called out on strikes, single to right that drove in Gardner in the 3rd inning. And as he picked up his 53rd run batted in of the year. 5 home runs in his last 8 games. And that misses inside. The Yankees until yesterday had homered in 11 straight games. They got shut out yesterday, but they made up for it today. Home runs by Holliday and Gregorius. Gardner, good speed at first. This ball's hit high in the air, right center field. Coming over is Brugman, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. Didn't quite have the sound. I don't think he got it on the good part of the bat, and still got it to the warning track almost.
And every time Aaron Judge swings the bat and gets the baseball in the air, you think it's going to be a home run, how big and strong he is, but off the end of the bat just a little bit, you could tell he knew it. Good look from the side. Just didn't hit that ball on the sweet spot. Easy play for Brugman.
2 outs. Gardner still at first. Will bring up Matt Holliday. Solo home run leading off the 2nd inning. Then he fouled out to the catcher Fegley. The home run for Holliday was his 14th. And he takes a first pitch strike from Jarrell Cotton. And Fegley goes out for a chat. Let's take a look at Holliday's homer flash.
Leading off the 2nd inning. Got ahead in the count 3-1. Was able to hunt a fastball, and he just hammers it to left center field. Jarrell Cotton with his reaction. 14th home run of the year for Holliday.
Here's a changeup, and it drops in there for a strike. 0-2. Holliday having a brief chat with Ted Barrett. So Holliday behind on the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Gardner's back. .85 pitches now for Cotton. Gardner's on the move. The pitch is outside for a ball. The throw to second's in the dirt. Gardner's in with a stolen base. That will be his 8th of the season. And now he's in scoring position for Matt Holliday.
It's just smart base running. Matt Holliday behind in the count 1-2. Brett Gardner takes a chance. His 8th stolen base of the year, now in scoring position.
Maintains contact with second base. So now it's 1-2 in Holliday, who's been one of the better hitters in the American League with runners in scoring position. .365. That's almost 100 points higher than his season batting average. 2-2. Chad Green's warming up in the Yankee bullpen. Looks like he's ready. If with him warming up, you think he's coming in the game this inning?
I would think so. He looks like he's ready to go.
Pitch. Holliday pops it high in the air around the home plate area. Fegley, who's going to make the play? He will. Nice play by the A's catcher. And the Yankees will leave a runner in scoring position. It's on to the bottom half of the inning. Yankees trail by 1.
Happy Father's Day to all the men out there and all the Yankee fans, and I'm so appreciative of my father, what he did in my life. He taught me so many things. He taught me the value of $1. He taught me the importance of hard work. He taught me how to love my wife. He taught me how to be a good father and make sacrifices and to give back to your family first and foremost. And if I can be half the father my father was, I consider myself a pretty good dad.
Father's Day wishes to all the dads out there from Yankee manager Joe Girardi, and well said, Joe. As Josh Fegley will step in. A lot of fathers and sons, daughters here today, enjoying this warm Sunday afternoon here in Oakland. Fegley at the plate. He was hitting when Brugman was thrown out stealing. New pitcher for the Yankees, Chad Green, will come in. And his pitch is fouled back to the screen. So Cessa's afternoon is done. 4 innings pitch, 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, and a walk for the starter. And now with Green coming on, we have actually seen the 2 pitchers that the Yankees got from Detroit for Justin Wilson back in make that December of 2015. On our GMC scoreboard, the A's are leading 4-3. Fegley, then the top of the order with Joyce and Pinder. That is high for a ball.
Chad Green worked in Thursday's loss here in Oakland. 2 hits, 1 earned run, and an inning and a third.
Was he hit by the pitch, or that hit home plate umpire Ted Barrett? And it knocked him to the ground. And he's shaken up. Ted Barrett's a tough guy. And looks like he took this in the knee area.
Well, you see Gary Sanchez setting up away, and he barely gets a piece of that, and it catches the left knee. Home plate umpire Ted Barrett, he goes down.
I like the catchers. The umpires wear shin guards, but with the pants on, you don't see them. You heard the crash into the knee.
Very unusual for a pitch to not, to be at least deflected a little bit by Gary Sanchez. Completely missed it.
Looked like the ball sailed.
Yeah.
And Ted Barrett, told you he's a tough guy. He's staying in there. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes on Fegley. And while Sanchez goes out to talk to Green, some Father's Day facts. There are over 70 million fathers in the United States. So now we know where all these kids have come from. And the nation's first Father's Day was celebrated on June 19th, 1910 in the state of Washington. However, it was not until 1972, 52 years, as this pitch is fouled off by Fegley, make that 58 years after President Woodrow Wilson made Mother's Day an official holiday. So 58 years later, Father's Day is official. And who says women don't control everything? Right?
Mother's Day came first, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So 1972, Father's Day became official in the United States. Pitch is fouled off by Fegley. And, the other day we had mentioned we thought it was Father's Day early in Australia, but that's not until September 3rd. And there's several countries who wait till September for official Father's Day. So we don't hold the patent on Father's Day here. But 70 million fathers in the country. Happy Father's Day, all of you. Here's a pitch to Fegley. Oh, that just missed. The count is full at 3-2. Chad Green, good fastball, good breaking ball. Picked up his first major league win last year in San Diego. The 3-2 pitch, and it's hit in the air to right center field. Williams on the run. Here comes Judge, and it's going to be Williams who puts it away for out number 1. Today we are participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run and strikeout in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. Since June 1st, over $3.3 billion have been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. So Green retires the first man, and it'll bring up Matt Joyce, who's been a thorn in the Yankees side in this series. He's got 7 hits. Now into the 4th game. And the first pitch is a little outside from Green, ball 1. Joyce with a double today and a run scored. It was his 10th double of the year. He also flied out to right field. So he's 1 for 2. Big swing and a miss, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Got his average up to 227. It's on the climb. Good pitch, hits the corner, 1-2.
Yeah, Kenny, when we first saw him the second game of the series, he was hitting .203. So all those hits you're talking about, that batting average now just under .230.
Barely above the Mendoza line when we first got here. Take a look at a salute to Matt Joyce's dad. To the left eye there, it says Dad. Okay, that's pretty cool. Hope his dad is watching this game. Ground ball pulled foul. Remember my dad throwing me batting practice, and it seems like it was a long time ago, but I was 5 years old. And you don't have much control over your dad in those days. I mean, you can't tell him to do anything, right?
You better not.
No, but he would chase it every time I hit it. It's going to be Brett Gardner chasing as Matt Joyce continues his hitting against the Yankees. He's on with 1 out. You know, I'd hit the ball, he'd go get it. Throw another one, I'd hit it, he'd go get it. I didn't miss many even back then. So my dad's not around anymore, but certainly I want to thank him for getting me involved with baseball at an early age. Here's Chad Pinder. At the time, I just hit left-handed. Pinder's got a double, and he's also grounded out, so he's 1 for 2. Joyce at first with 1 out. The first pitch hit in the air to center field. Mason Williams going back, still going back, and makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch. Gets the ball back in, and that's out number 2. Williams has speed, he's got range, and he used it there to make that play.
Yeah, it looked like that ball took off a little bit on Williams in center field as Pinder hits this ball well. Williams had to kick it into another gear right in front of the warning track. Nice play.
So 2 outs for Jed Lowry, who's walked and grounded to second. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. The A's are leading the Yankees 4-3. Luis Cessa started for the Yankees, gave up all 4 runs, and all of them in the 3rd inning. Outside, ball 1. The big blow was a 2-run shot off of Cessa by Chris Davis. The Oakland A's left fielder, that was his 18th home run of the year. He's among the league leaders, as he was last year. Swing and a miss by Lowry. Good fastball. Tell you what, when Brian Cashman made that trade to Detroit, people were kind of scratching their heads. Justin Wilson, a pretty good reliever, but got 2 good arms, developing arms in Cessa and now Green. Both of them in the game this afternoon. That pitch is just a little bit outside for a ball.
Well, you're right, Kenny. I mean, Green pitching out of the bullpen obviously today, but can be a starting pitcher. So Brian Cashman bringing over a couple of good young arms for one left-handed specialist.
Toss over to first. Chris Carter scoops that out of the dirt. Check swing, goes around too far. And that will level the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down. Yankees trying to break a 5-game losing streak. They're going to have to rally though. Down by a run. That is low. 3-2 now, and that means the runner at first. Joyce will be off with the pitch. There is Chris Davis on deck. With the left-handed hitter at the plate, Carter's going to play a step or 2 behind Matt Joyce at first. Pitch is on the way. The runner goes, and it's hit in the air to left field. Brett Gardner coming on. High, lazy fly ball. He's there, makes the catch, and that'll do it. The A's get a hit, nothing else here in the 5th inning. It's on to the 6th. The Yankees need some runs. The Yankees kick off their series with the Angels. Get inside access to Yes's studio coverage with Facebook Live. Go behind the scenes of the pregame production meeting at 4:30 and interact with our producers and on-air talent as well as other Yankee fans. Join the Facebook Live social revolution and follow the Yes Network today. That should be fun. Flash, they might be able to see you in that.
I've been in a couple of those meetings. You got to watch what you say now. There's Facebook Live.
Starlin Castro is going to lead it off for the Yankees here in the 6th. They're down by 1. And Castro swings at the first pitch and pulls it foul down the third base side. And is strike 1. Castro looking for his first hit of the afternoon. We don't say that very often this deep in the ball games. 29 multi-hit games for the Yankees second baseman. Leads the American League. Fouls this one off, and he's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. He told you he's a 300 hitter against all types of pitching, lefties and righties, having that type of season. 12 homers, 43 runs batted in. Next pitch is popped up. Looks like Fegley's going to have a play here. And he puts it away. Out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Those of you back east, hope you're enjoying the game this afternoon on Father's Day. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty and Meredith Marakovitz. 4-3 the A's are leading. The A's got all 4 of their runs in the 3rd inning. Big blow was the home run by Chris Davis, his 18th of the year, a 2-run shot that erased a 2-2 tie. The Yankees have gotten a couple of homers. Holliday, Gregorius, solo shots, and he also got an RBI single from Aaron Judge, and that's where we stand. It's 4-3. Gregorius takes a pitch high for a ball. Didi's home run came in his last at bat, his 7th of the year. That was in the 4th inning. Daniel Colomb is warming up in the A's bullpen. He's a left-hander. Cotton now at 92 pitches. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, he threw 107 pitches against the Yankees May 27th. Took the loss in that game. Big 2-run home run from Holliday as Colomb getting ready.
Gregorius is singled and homered. A 2-for-2 afternoon. Drives this one hard to center field. Bruckman is back and he'll make the catch. Out number 2. Didi hit that one well. And with 2 down, it'll bring up the Yankee third baseman, Chase Headley, who has struck out looking and was hit by a pitch and then thrown out stealing for the first time this year. Well, we told you it's a warm afternoon here in Oakland. Hottest day at the Coliseum, 90 degrees today since June 20th, 2008. And on that day, it was 91. The all-time record here at the Coliseum is 92. So Flash was right. He said this is the hottest it's ever been since he's been here. Pitch is fouled off by Headley. I was probably here for that day when it was 92. Two outs, nobody on in the 6th inning. Chase Headley up there with a 1-1 count. This ball is drilled down the right field line. Is it fair or foul? It is a foul ball. Had the distance, but not the direction. But still a happy fan.
Well, we talked about it during this road trip. Chase Headley swinging the bat so much better, and you can see that is clearly a foul ball. And when he gets right, Kenny, it looks like he just uses his hands so much better. You know, eliminates the body, the hands take over. It's a little too quick there.
So it's 1-2 on Headley. That is high and away. 2-2. Yankees 3 runs on 6 hits against Jarrell Cotton, making his 2nd start against the Yankees this year. He lost back on May 27th at Yankee Stadium. Now the count has moved to 3-2. And the payoff pitch fouled back off to our left, and we'll do it all over again. Headley had a home run in Anaheim. That was his 4th, and it was his on this trip, but it was his 1st since April. He just missed another by a few feet in this at bat. Payoff pitch on the way again. It's ground ball to the right side. Tough hop for Healy. He has it. Throws the Cotton covering, and Cotton makes the play. So the Yankees go in order. It's trail 4-3. Welcome back, your favorite pinstripe legends for the 71st annual Old Timers Day at the stadium. And yes, we'll be there live to bring you all the player introductions in the ceremonial game. Watch this time-honored tradition next Sunday beginning at 11 a.m. right here on Yes. No team does Old Timers Day like the Yankees. Here's Chris Davis. His home run is the difference. Gave the A's a 4-2 lead at the time. Now it's 4-3. And Davis swings and fouls it off to the right. Strike one. The home run was number 18 on the season. Came with a man aboard in the third. He's also forced a runner. So Davis is 1 for 2. He likes the ball belt high or above. Fly ball, right center field. On the move is Mason Williams. Still going back, reaches out and drops the ball. Davis is the second. He'll hold on there. We'll see how they score that. Looked like Mason Williams is about to haul it in and couldn't do so.
It looked like Mason was fooled a little bit a couple of times in this game. The ball carrying a little bit more than he's thought. He makes up the ground, puts up the glove, and it just pops right out. It looks like it's going to be scored a double for Davis.
And this is your home ballpark.
So again, it looks like he was settling underneath, and then the ball just takes off a little bit on him, carries a little bit more than he thought.
So Davis gets a 2-base hit on that one. It's his 10th double. And it brings up Healy, who struck out twice against Sessa. So the A's with a leadoff 2-base hit here in the 6th. They lead by 1. And Healy deals, and I should say Green deals, and Healy misses. Strike one. The fast pitch speed analytics is brought to you by Fios, and that one was a blazing 95 miles an hour from Chad Green. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Healy leaving the strike zone. Healy yesterday with a couple of home runs. I mean, long ones. Went 3 for 4.
Kenny, you mentioned Chris Davis likes the ball up. It seems to me Healy likes the ball down a little bit. A couple of those splits against Tanaka down in the zone, and he's swinging through some high fastballs here.
Sliders outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So it's the hat trick this afternoon for Ryan Healy as he strikes out for the 3rd time. Chad Green puts him away.
Now batting designated hitter, 21, D-Man.
And that's from one of the best hitters in day games in the American League. Maybe just today's not his day. Stephen Vogt popped up, grounded out, 0 for 2. Left-hand hitting DH this afternoon for the Oakland A's. Chris Davis with a short lead at second, and Vogt takes one high and away for ball 1. The Yankees will fly back east after the game today. They've got an off day on Monday. Then Tuesday the Angels are in town. The Yankees should have payback on their mind. And the A's took 2 out of 3. Should say the Angels did in Anaheim. That pitch misses, ball 2. That was after the Yankees won the opening game of the series. And that remains the only win on this road trip for the Yankees.
It's kind of shocking, right? They had that great homestand, scoring all those runs, won that first game in Anaheim, and then it's been a struggle out here on the West Coast.
They came out flying high, having won 5 of 6 from the Red Sox and the Orioles. Fortunes change quickly. Here's the pitch to Vogt, and that misses. 3 balls and no strikes from Chad Green. 6-game winning streak on the left. Well, you're going to win if you score 10 runs a game and hit 362 with 18 home runs. The last 5, not quite the offensive output. And look at the ERA down at the bottom. That's why that looks like a 5-game losing streak. That pitch is in there for a call strike. It's 3-1. Aroldis Chapman back in uniform today. Back off the DL. Shoulder inflammation. He's ready to go if needed. 3-1 pitch to Vogt, and he hits it into left field. Gardner's there and will make the catch. Chris Davis quickly retreats to second base. So Davis with the leadoff double hasn't moved as the A's have made 2 outs here, and they'll bring up Matt Chapman. Chapman's fly to left and struck out swinging. He's 0 for 2. Chad Green trying to strand Davis right where he is. Pitch to Chapman. That hits the corner, and it's a call strike. Just a little bit outside, and it's 1-1. Green, who now makes his home in Effingham, Illinois, out of the University of Louisville, and they're going to have a discussion here as what they want to do with Matt Chapman.
A lot of conversations between Gary Sanchez and Chad Green, and you're wondering, I mean, obviously the signs with the runner at second base would be a topic of conversation, but Green's in pretty good rhythm. I don't know why you want to slow him down.
A 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. Saw Green with a fastball that occasionally will hit 97. Big guy, 6'3", 210 pounds. He gets it up there in a hurry. Chapman backs out. Everybody's ready. Pitch is on the way, and it is called strike 3. Chapman caught looking. Leadoff double, does not move from second base. On to the 7th inning.
Game summary, which is brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Yankees trailing 4-3. Luis Cessa, 4 innings, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts. Jarrell Cotton, 6th innings. He's going to go back out there and start the 7th. 3 runs, walk, and 6 Ks. Matt Holliday, Didi Gregorius, solo home runs each, and Chris Davis, the big 2-run shot for him. That's a difference in this ball game. The 8-9-1 for the New York Yankees. Chris Carter, Mason Williams, Brett Gardner. Carter first pitch swinging, fouls it straight back. Jarrell Cotton back out there for the 7th inning. He's only thrown 7 innings one time in this year against the Kansas City Royals. His 2nd start, 7 shutout against the Royals. A's won that game 2-0. Cadillac scoreboard. Carter jam popped up. Fegley looks like he's going to have room, and he makes the play. 1 down here in the 7th.
Begley's had a busy afternoon on the pop-ups. It seems the separation of the change-ups and the fastball, when you get the fastball that are late.
Well, 103 pitches. Bob Melvin, the manager of the A's, says that's enough for Jarrell Cotton. We got the first out here in the 7th inning. Bob Melvin's going to make the call to the bullpen. The A's trying to hold on to a 4-3 lead. There's no better time to buy a new Hyundai than now. See your local Hyundai dealer or visit buyhyundai.com. And by People's United Bank, NA. Keep business at hand with mobile cash management. And by Buick. Visit tristatebuick.com for great lease offers. Not a bad day for an icy here. A warm day in Oakland. The Yankees trailing 4-3. A new pitcher for the A's, Daniel Kalum, and a pinch hitter for the New York Yankees, Rob Refsnyder, going to hit for Mason Williams. He takes a breaking ball for strike 1. 29th game for Kalum. ERA just under 2, and he's been a hot pitcher lately. Has not allowed an earned run in 16 of his last 17 outings. And quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. Williams a fly ball and a strikeout while he was in there. Rob Refsnyder pinch hitting.
Refsnyder looking for his first pinch hit of the season. He's 0 for 3.
Tyler Clippard looks like he's ready to go in the Yankee pen. Comes a 1-2 to Refsnyder, and that misses badly up and away. 3 runs, 6 hits for the New York Yankees. 4 runs, 7 hits for the A's, and their pen is busy. Ryan Matson and John Axford. Bullpens have been worked during this 4-game set here in Oakland.
Well, you know Colum's going to get at least one more hitter with Gardner lefty up next.
Colum has done a nice job against left-handed hitters, only batting .190 against him. One out here in the 7th. The Yankees trail 4-3. Big swing and a miss, looked like a slider from Colum. 2 down here in the 7th.
Now batting, number 11, Brett Gardner.
Back to the leadoff man. Brett Gardner is having a nice afternoon. Hit a ball hard to left field his first at bat. Had a double in the 3rd, a single in the 5th. Stole a base and scored a run. You see Tyler Clipper down in that Yankee bullpen. Looks like he's ready to go. Aroldis Chapman back. Joe Girardi talked that he would like to get him an inning this afternoon. So Tyler Clipper now looking like the 7th inning guy again. Gardner gets underneath this one. Looks like it's going to find the seats.
Of Gardner's 13 home runs, only 2 of them have come against lefties.
There's Chapman in the Yankee dugout. Comes the 1-1 from the left-hander Colum. Sweeping breaking ball.
Left-handed hitter, you go up there, you know a lefty's going to feature a breaking ball to you somewhere during the at-bat. Primarily, that's the way they're trying to get you out. Pitch is going away. Try and lead you across the plate. Chase one out of the strike zone.
Well, we talked about the A's bullpen, the ERA over 5, but Colum has been one of the bright spots for Bob Melvin's bullpen. Goes breaking ball again. Ground ball to short. Pinder up with it. 1-2-3. Top of the 7th inning for the Oakland A's. Nice job by the lefty Colum coming in and getting a couple of outs. 4-3 A's. The post-game, don't miss a special Father's Day edition of the W.B. Mason Presents a Joe Girardi Show, as the skipper invites his youngest daughter on the show. You can also catch a game of basketball at the Girardi homestead and a ride along to the stadium and much more. That's tonight Only on yes.
Additional changes for New York. Number 38, Ron Refsnyder, remains in the game and is now playing left field.
Bottom of the 7th, we have a pitching change. Tyler Clippard is going to take over for Chad Green. With his numbers on the year, 31st game, 2.30 ERA, and Rob Refsnyder stays in the game. He's going to take over in left field as Brett Gardner moves over to center. It'll be 8-9-1, Brugman, Fegley, and Joyce for the Oakland A's. Good first pitch changeup for a strike from Clippard. Tyler pitched on Thursday night, a third of an inning, 1 hit, 1 earned run. There's Refsnyder in left and Gardner to center.
Of course, Clippard features a good changeup, fastball, low to mid-90s, and a breaking ball.
Brugman 1 for 2 and a single in the 4th. On our Cadillac scoreboard, the Yankees trailing 4-3. Trying to salvage this last game here in Oakland. It's not been a fun trip to the West Coast for the New York Yankees. Comes a 1-2. We'll see if he goes with that changeup. And he goes with the fastball, beats Brugman. Fouled off.
You know, when you're coming out here to the West, and when the Yankees got to Anaheim to play the Angels were a 500 team. But the A's, everybody knew they're in last place, but they weren't necessarily. You didn't know how their record breaks down. They're good here. They're awful away from here.
21-13 at home for the Oakland A's.
And they're not in double figures in wins on the road. 9-25.
That's 27 home games for Bob Melvin's club, 19-8. Brugman hits a fly ball to right field. Judge going back. He'll make the play. There it is, 27 home games, 19-8. 5.4 runs a game. Doubles have been up. Home runs, that's what they do. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. 49 home runs in 27 games. One down will bring up Josh Fegley. Had a base hit in the 3rd, scored a run. And a fly ball to Williams in center field, his last at bat. Aroldis Chapman has moved from the Yankee dugout now to the Yankee bullpen. Joe Girardi has said he wanted to get him an inning today. We'll see if it's going to be the 8th or the 9th. As Fegley pops it up. Refsnyder coming on, Gardner coming in. It's going to be Brett Gardner. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Two down will bring up Matt Joyce. Having a good series and another good game. 2 for 3. Hit the ball hard his first at bat. Double in the 3rd and a base hit in the 5th.
Yeah, he's reached safely 7 out of his last 8 trips to the plate. Ball got away in the A's bullpen.
Ryan Matson getting loose by himself now. First pitch changeup fouled off of Sanchez.
Take a look at this. Just Like he got him on the outside of what, the thigh or the shin guard? Outside of the shin guard.
A little quick pitch from Tyler Clippard, goes with the changeup, misses up and away. You watch Gary Sanchez and the way he receives with nobody on base. Always throws that left knee down, a lower target. It's kind of a trend in baseball these days.
Kind of reminds you what Tony Pena used to do it. Gold Glove catcher in the past.
How about the energy he played with, Tony Pena?
Every single pitch.
Ready to go every day. It's a 1-2 from Clippard. Fastball misses inside. Well, on Father's Day, I looked down at Tony Pena. He was like a father to me, Kenny. I backed him up my rookie year. Showed me the ropes in the big league level.
Man knows his catching, that's for sure.
That right. Comes a 2-2 from Clippard. Misses badly. There were some stern talks as well, Kenny, to a 24-year-old rookie backup catcher to Tony Pena. This is the way we do things up here.
Was this after the fact or before the fact?
Maybe after the fact one time.
Okay.
Then you got the message. You got back on the program. And that fastball just misses off the plate. So Matt Joyce works a 2-out walk.
On base again for Matt Joyce. 3 out of 4 today after 5 in a row yesterday.
Two down. It's going to bring up shortstop Chad Pinder. He had a double and a couple of RBIs in that third inning against Luis Sessa, where the A's did all of their damage. First pitch changeup fouled off. We talked a lot about Tony Pena. Let's take a look back in the day. Still got the same arm action. Towards batting practice every day.
It's kind of a quick release, isn't it? Ooh, from one knee. Gotcha.
Tony Pena going through the signs with the running game, throw over to first, possibly pitch out, maybe a slide step. Gary Sanchez gets the message, delivers it to Tyler Clippard. Matt Joyce has 1 stolen base on the year, has been thrown out 1 time, not much of a threat to run. Pinder fouls off that fastball.
And that's Matt Joyce leading off. You think back in the day when Ricky Henderson, he'd already be at second.
There he is, Ricky Henderson Field.
Gary Sanchez's strong arms serves as a deterrent to a lot of teams attempting to steal. He's already thrown out 1 runner today.
Joyce not going anywhere, and that fastball is skied to center field. Brett Gardner shielding the sun with his glove, settling underneath, and he'll make the play. A nice smooth bottom of the 7th for Tyler Clippard. Fly balls are an adventure here during day games in Oakland. Yankees trailing 4-3.
Chapman warming up in the Yankee bullpen. Looks like he'll be coming on in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And the A's have a new pitcher in there. It's going to be the veteran Ryan Madson. Started in the big leagues way back in 2003. This will be his 29th appearance. Pretty good opponent's batting average, just .219. He'll get Sanchez, Judge, and Holliday for the Yankees here in the 8th inning. Yankees are down by a run. Need to rally here. We're getting late. Sanchez today has flied to left field twice and in between struck out swinging. Madson deals. First pitch is a called strike one. On our Hyundai scoreboard, the A's lead 4-3. They've out hit the Yankees by 1. A tall right-hander deals the 0-1 pitch, and it's hit on the ground towards second. Lowry gets a pretty good hop and throws on to first for 1 out. So Sanchez now 0 for 4, and will move the lineup along to Aaron Judge.
Well, Madson has done a nice job against right-handed hitters. A batting average just over 200 at 208. Bob Melvin going with the matchups here in the 8th inning.
Aaron Judge with the 23 home runs. He's hit more home runs this year than any Yankee hit all last year. Carlos Beltran led the team in home runs with 22. Madson deals. The first pitch is a little outside for ball 1. Judge has struck out, singled in a run, and flat out to center field. One 0 pitch is fouled back to the right and becomes a souvenir. Ball and a strike. Linden, California, about 85 miles northeast of Oakland. Yeah, he can reach that. Look out, he is hit by a pitch, and Aaron Judge will head down to first base representing the tying run. Well, it looked like Matson was trying to get the ball in. He went too far in.
Well, we talked about Matson during this series, how that fastball runs in on the righties away from the lefties, and it just clips the left elbow.
That is the first batter that Matson's hit all year. And for Judge, that's the third time he's been hit this year. So he's on. It'll bring up Holliday. Holliday jumps back out of the way, and it's ball one. Home run for Holliday into second, leading off the inning. Took Jarrell Cotton deep on a 3-1 pitch. Fouled out to the catcher. Then popped up to the catcher. So he's 1 for 3. High, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Two for 14 and been hit by a pitch. Right now, Holliday's ahead on the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Another check on Judge, who has 6 steals in 8 attempts. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Matson falls behind. You let him go get it, Flash?
Oh, yeah. No reason for Aaron Judge to be running. You got Matt Holliday up at the plate, who's already gone deep once, and he is in the driver's seat right now, 3-0. Well, sure, Joe Girardi giving him the green light.
He takes. You know, you trust his judgment as a veteran hitter to get something he wants.
With Matson with that running fastball in on the righties, I'm sure Matt Holliday looking for a ball out over the plate.
Good swing, but he fouls it back, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. As you might expect, 1-run lead. The outfield's deep. Make it 3 balls and 2 strikes. On deck is Starlin Castro. Almost threw it away as Healy had to scamper to come up with the throw from Matson. You throw it away here with the foul territory, the expanse of it, you can run for days. Here's your 3-2 pitch, and it's hit on the ground to the right side. Lowry has it. Goes to Pindle. The throw to Healy is in time, and it's a double play. The A's turn it and get out of the jam here in the 8th inning. 4-6-3 double play, and we'll head to the bottom half of the inning. The A's still lead it 4-3. Pitney Bowes, the craftsman of commerce.
Well, the Pitney Bowes game changer happened in the bottom of the third inning. Chris Davis is going to hit his 18th home run of the year. 2-run shot against Luis Cessa is the difference in this ball game, and your Pitney Bowes game changer.
Well, Yankee fans might want to say welcome back to Aroldis Chapman. That's a pitch for the Yankees since May the 12th, and here it is against the Houston Astros. And with Jose Altuve at the plate, that was going to be the last pitch that he would throw until today. Left shoulder inflammation, onto the disabled list, and then rehab, and now he's back. And he'll get Lowry, Davis, and Healy for the A's here in the 8th inning. There are the numbers. 7 out of 8 in the save situation. 21 strikeouts in 12 2/3. Only 6 walks. Has thrown a fastball in the major leagues as high as 105 miles an hour. Here's our Hyundai scoreboard for 3. First pitch is a called strike. Lowry's 0 for 2 today with a base on balls. The switch hitter jumps over to the other side of the plate. Pitch is fouled back, and that's 99. I think he's okay, Flash.
Yeah, I think he looks like he's just fine. Sean Doolittle getting ready in the Oakland A's pen.
.101, and the count is 1-2.
Well, you think back to Chapman, even before he went on the disabled list, the velocity wasn't the problem, right? It was his location a little bit missing badly. And then revealed he had a little shoulder issue going on. Hopefully it's cleared up.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So he picks up his strikeout. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote the Yankees for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at yankees.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 88th Major League Baseball All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 11th on Fox. Should be quite as spectacular. So 1 out, Chris Davis. Yankees had quieted his bat until today. He'd been 1 for 13 coming in today. He's 2 for 3 with a home run and a double, and a couple of runs batted in. On deck is Ryan Healy. Ground ball. High hop, Sunday hop for Didi Gregorius to throw across the diamonds in time, and there are 2 down. So Chapman, so far, no issues, and it'll bring up Ryan Healy. He's been up 3 times and struck out 3 times swinging. You're looking forward to the top of the 9th inning. It'll be Castro, Gregorius, and Headley for the Yankees, as they have to try and rally here. First pitch, man, it's in there for a strike. 1-0-2. Ground ball to third. Should be an easy inning here as Headley throws out Healy, and the A's go in order. Welcome back, Aroldis Chapman. No issues as we go to the 9th. Final out for the WBA post game as Ryan Ruocco is back in the studio for a recap of the Yankees week out west, plus a look ahead in Tuesday's clash with the Angels when the Bombers return home to the Bronx. It's only on Yes. Well, the Yankees going to have to rally here. New pitcher in there for the A's, as well as a new left fielder. Rajai Davis takes over for Chris Davis, so it's been a Davis afternoon out in left field. Yonder Alonso is now at first base, and on the mound, the left-hander Sean Doolittle will be trying to close this one out. And Doolittle, who was injured early in the year, just 3 save opportunities. He's converted 2 of them. Santiago Casilla was hit by a foul ball in this series, and he's not available to close, so they go to Doolittle. As we mentioned, had been the primary closer for the A's over the last few years. Castro's at the plate, and he takes a pitch for a call strike.
Doolittle has battled some shoulder problems last year, was on the disabled list earlier this year with a shoulder issue.
Castro's looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's 0 for 3. Ball is popped up. Let's see who's going to make the play. Here's Pinder, the shortstop, into short center field. And there's 1 out here in the 9th inning. So the Yankees a couple of outs away from a 1-6 road trip if they don't rally here. The win came in the first game out west here in Anaheim, and then 6 consecutive losses if they don't convert here. Gregorius has had a single and a home run. He's also flied out, lined out to center. Hit the ball well this afternoon. Swing and a miss, strike 1.
A lot of 1-run games during that stretch too, Kenny. They lost 5-2 yesterday, but before that, a lot of tight ball games. Same thing this afternoon, 4-3.
7 of the 8 losses this month for the Yankees are by 1 or 2 runs. That's high for a ball, 1-1. The beater Doolittle delivers, and it's hit on the ground sharply to short for Pinder. Pinder throws wide, and the ball is going to go into the Yankee dugout, and Gregorius will get second base. That is E6. And for the A's, that's their first error this afternoon. Can the Yankees make them pay?
The A's not a good defensive ball club, though, and this is a gift, a routine ground ball. Pinder comes up with it. The throw not even close. We'll see if the Yankees can take advantage of this mistake.
So Gregorius will move down to second. Then it'll bring up Headley. And there are the totals. By far, they lead the American League in errors. Here's Headley. Struck out, hit by a pitch, and grounded to first. So the tying run in scoring position. Doolittle deals a strike to Headley. The Yankees bullpen is busy. A left-hander and a right-hander. Doolittle spins to give Gregorius something to think about. And if the Yankees tie the game, Shreve will probably come in. If the Yankees take the lead, we'll see the big man, Betances. Headley takes upstairs for a ball, and it's 1-1. Chris Carter is on deck. Some power there. High again. 2 balls and a strike to Headley.
Well, if you're Headley or any Yankee hitter, you know that Doolittle's game is all about power. He'll run that fastball in on your hands.
Another spin move towards second. Nothing doing. Gregorius trying to get a good secondary lead. Wants to score on a base hit. Doolittle having trouble with the signs here with Fegley. They'll go through him again. Headley, broken bat, popped up behind home plate. Fegley didn't see it at first, and the ball will fall safely. And Headley has to get a new bat. Count goes to 2-2. That one didn't have much airtime.
Doolittle, as advertised, running the fastball in on the hands of Chase Headley. Fegley, who's had a bunch of pop-ups behind home plate, has made it look easy all afternoon. Didn't have enough time on that one.
I don't think he saw it right off the bat. Fourth A's pitcher of the afternoon, Sean Doolittle, with a 2-2 count on Chase Headley. Swung on and missed, strike 3. 2 down. Looked like a high fastball.
Well, Doolittle doesn't play any games. He just comes right at you with that high heater.
Well, the Yankees down to their last out. And I'll bring up Chris Carter, who has walked, struck out, and fouled out. 0 for 2. Had 2 home runs in this series, for a total of 8 on the season. Pitch is popped up. Down the line comes Alonso. Here's Fegley, and it's going to be Alonso who makes the catch. And the Yankees are swept here in Oakland. The A's take 4 in a row, and the Yankees' losing streak is now at 6 as they head back to the Bronx. Final score here this afternoon, the A's win it by a score of 4-3. Yet another 1-run loss for the New York Yankees on this road trip. So we'll be back as the A's celebrate in the middle of the diamond a 4-game sweep over the New York Yankees here in Oakland.